His Excellency, guest of honor, honorable diplomats, politicians, academicians, renowned journalists, and civil society representatives, business leaders, and respected guests. Greetings and a very good morning to you all from Center for Governance Studies. It is my pleasure to welcome you in today's event, Meet the Ambassador. The event is being organized by Center for Governance Studies in partnership with Friedrich-Ebert-Stiftung, Bangladesh. There is a saying that goes about friendship. A friend is the one who overlooks your broken fence and admires the flowers in your garden. Japan has been that kind of friend to us from the inception of Bangladesh. Japan has generously donated through official development assistance to Bangladesh since 1972 and became Bangladesh's largest bilateral donor. Bangladesh is the largest recipient of Japan's ODA. Financial assistance from Japan saw a boost after initiating a comprehensive partnership with Bangladesh in 2014. In fiscal year 2021, Japan provided more aid to Bangladesh than any other country, amounting to $2.63 billion. Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, is a top bilateral donor in Bangladesh, aiming the support of the Bangladesh in focusing two pillars, namely accelerating sustainable economic growth and overcoming poverty. JICA's large-scale infrastructure projects will promote the Bay of Bengal Industrial Growth Belt, Big B initiative. Launched by Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and the Japanese Prime Minister Abe Shinzo in 2014. The year 2020 is a landmark year in the history of Bangladesh-Japan relation, as the countries are celebrating the Golden Jubilee of Bangladesh-Japan friendship. It is our privilege to have a very special person as a guest of honor in today's event, Ambassador of Japan to Bangladesh, His Excellency Ito Naoki. Ambassador Ito Naoki has been working relentlessly for the past couple of hours for the development of Japan-Bangladesh bilateral relations. We would like to express our gratitude to all the respected guests present here with us today. Your active participation means a lot to us. We also thank our online audience who are with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to welcome to the stage Dr. Manjure Choudhury, Chairman, Center for Governance Studies, and also the Chairman of National River Conservation Commission, to share his thoughts with us. Sir.
Thank you, Mahatab. His Excellency, Mr. Ito Naoki, Honorable Ambassador of Japan to Bangladesh, distinguished guests, friends from media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. This is the fourth episode of Meet the Ambassador program. Center for Governance Studies and FES, Friedrich-Ebert-Stiftung, initiated this program. In this program, the foreign diplomats exchange ideas, views, opinions with the cross-section of people. In this episode, we warmly welcome His Excellency Mr. Ito Naoki, Honorable Ambassador of Japan to Bangladesh. Japan has been a true and tested friend since Bangladesh was born more than 5 decades ago. During the time of our liberation, when we were engaged in a fierce war with the Pakistani occupation force, Japan and Japanese people helped us with open heart, both financially and diplomatically. Japan, we are grateful to Japan and we will remain ever so for their help during our dark time. The relationship between Japan and Bangladesh is a great one. It has been the largest donor for this country for a long time. The relationship between Japan and Bangladesh does not depend only on economic basis. It has also spiritual and cultural aspects also. Our poet Rabindranath Tagore visited Japan for 4 times, and he wrote 5 times, and he wrote a travelogue great traveler called Japan Yatri. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. He was, Rabindranath Tagore was fascinated with Japan and its culture, especially its haiku poetry. Over the years and decades, the geopolitical scenario in this region has changed significantly. We have entered the Asian era. The engine of global economy has shifted to Asia. Bangladesh is nestled between two Asian giants, India and China. We are now witnessing rivalries among emerging great powers. The Indo-Pacific is now an arena for strategic showdown. There are Belt and Road Initiative, Blue Dot Network. In this backdrop, our great friend Japan came to us with development package to transform Dhaka, Chittagong, Cox's Bazar Belt area into an economic powerhouse. Implementation of these projects are in full swing, going on in full swing. The friendship between these two nation states is on solid ground. During our darkest time, when we were engaged in a fierce, bloody battle, war against the Pakistani occupation forces, Japan and the Japanese people came forward with open heart to help us. After the Second World War, devastated by two nuclear holocausts, Japan went through a similar situation. In 1948, the Allied nations initiated Tokyo Trial. After the war, Japanese military leaders faced certain judicial killing, but a Bengali judge, Radha Binod Pal, in that trial court dissented with majority and decided to stick to the principle of justice and fairness. Our friendship started out on a solid ground of justice and fairness. On behalf of Center for Governance Studies, I welcome you all. Long live Bangladesh-Japan friendship. Joy Bangla. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to welcome to the podium Mr. Sadhan Kumar Das. He is the Program Coordinator of Friedrich-Ebert-Stiftung, Bangladesh.
Thank you, Mahbub. Good morning, everyone. This is Sadhan Kumar Das, Program Coordinator, Friedrich-Ebert-Stiftung, Bangladesh. Our resident representative, Mr. Felix Gulbis, is out of country, thus he is not with us today and has apology for his absence. You may know about FES and its work, even though I will highlight a bit about us. FES is a German political foundation. The foundation owes its formation and its mission to the political legacy of its namesake Friedrich Ebert, the first democratically elected German president. The work of our political foundation focuses on the core ideas and values of social democracy, freedom, justice, and solidarity. It has been working through partnership approach in Bangladesh since its inception in 2014 in Dhaka. Center for Governance Studies, CGS, is one of our implementing partners. Indo-Pacific region is getting geopolitical importance in recent times for its geostrategic, geonaval, and geoeconomic standing and prospects. Many say that Asia will be the hub of next global geopolitical center. In this present situation, FES has been implementing projects on geopolitics and geoeconomics. As part of it, Meet the Ambassador events are designed to create a platform where political leaders and activists, diplomats, academics, businesses, experts, and media can exchange views and opinions on bilateral issues and future strategies for the development of Bangladesh. This is the fourth one in its kind, and the last one of this year will take place on this 16th November. We are so much delighted that we have received wide media coverage, both in electronic and print media on the last 3 events. We hope we will also get the same coverage on the content of today's talk. Our heartiest gratitude to the journalists and crews of these media outlets. Here a good number of honorable dignitaries and luminaries are present to exchange their views with His Excellency. We are thankful for your time and valuable contribution to this event. It's always precious to listen to them, and it would become more precious when the content of the discussion will highlight the key area of the bilateral relations between Bangladesh and Japan. We trust our most respected moderator, Mr. Jilur Rahman, will guide the audience in that direction. We are always grateful to Mr. Rahman and his organization for this great idea of arranging this Meet the Ambassador and ensuring the quality participation of the audience. Today we are honored and so much glad that His Excellency, Mr. Ito Naoki, Ambassador of Japan to Bangladesh, has kindly joined with us to exchange his views on the Bangladesh-Japan relations and to respond to the questions of the audience. Japan recognized Bangladesh in February 1972, and from then they have been maintaining friendly and responsible relations through economic and technical cooperation, cultural exchanges, and mutual visits. Immediately after the recognition, Japan opens its embassy in March 1972 in Dhaka. Almost the same time, Bangladesh opens the embassy in Tokyo, which is July 1972. Japan is a major development partner of Bangladesh, extending support to the efforts of Bangladesh for its economic and social development. The two governments signed the agreement and technical cooperation on 8 December 2002 to strengthen further mutual technical cooperation by consolidating its infrastructure and simplifying its process under a single umbrella framework. Bangladesh's trade with Japan is steady. In 2020 to 21, Bangladesh exported an amount of $1,184 million woven garments including knit goods and leather, and imported $2,001 million iron and steel, ships, vehicles, nuclear reactors, machinery, and mechanical appliances. Total direct investment from Japan is $91 million in 2021. It is important to mention here that Bangladesh has received an amount of 95.9 billion yen, which is almost 70 billion Bangladeshi taka as technical cooperation. This is a cumulative total as of fiscal 2020. It is also reported in the newspaper that Japan has generously donated through official development assistance to Bangladesh since 1972 and became Bangladesh's single largest bilateral donor. Bangladesh is the largest recipient of Japan's ODA, according to His Excellency Ito Naoki. On the other way around, in Asia, Bangladesh's largest export destination is Japan. In the last decade, Bangladesh's exports through Japan have almost doubled, but there is still huge untapped trade potentials for Bangladesh. How this bilateral relation can be steered to build more strong strategic partnership? Which are the areas where Bangladesh can explore more? Now Bangladesh is thinking to diversify its economy, and what will be the economic and trade areas Japan could support to Bangladesh? And as Japan is globally known for its technology-driven industries. In the education sector, Japan supports widely and provides scholarships for higher education. How this can be expanded? So these are only a few questions from our side submitted to your consideration. I know you have many more questions to His Excellency. With this little introduction, we look forward to listening your productive and effective conversation on present, past, and futures of Bangladesh and Japan relations. For these conversations, His Excellency Mr. Ito Naoki is with us to respond to your questions and queries. Warm welcome, His Excellency. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your kind words. Now I would like to welcome to the stage His Excellency Ambassador Ito Naoki to take his seat, and I would also like to request Mr. Jilur Rahman, Executive Director of Center for Governance Studies, to accompany His Excellency on the stage. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, namaskar and good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, 50 years ago, on February 10, 1972, Japan officially recognized Bangladesh as a sovereign nation state. Since then, the two countries have maintained a warm relationship which can be dubbed a good model of development partnership. The relationship between Japan and Bangladesh has many facets, and it is my pleasure to introduce our distinguished guest for today, His Excellency Mr. Ito Naoki, Ambassador of Japan to Bangladesh. Mr. Naoki previously worked as a Consul General of Japan in Chicago. After coming back to Bangladesh, he was very active in his office and maintained a very good relationship with the Bangladesh people over the years. Mr. Ambassador, welcome to our program, and the podium is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jiru Rahman, for your kind introduction. Dr. Manjuru A. Chaudhary, Chairman, Center for Governance Studies. Mr. Shadan Kumar Das, Program Coordinator, Friedrich-Ebert-Stiftung, Bangladesh. Are you okay? Okay? Yeah? Ready to listen to? I hope so. So, Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. I hope everybody is fine. I hope everybody is enjoying to listen to my talk. So, the earlier was said that there was a very good press coverage. I don't need any good press coverage. I don't think there's going to be a good press coverage because what I'm going to say is not that provocative, not that exciting. I'm just state my case as an ambassador. So which means very, very boring talk will be done. I've been here for 3 years. So I always find it difficult to reconcile the sense of time management of us and sense of time management here in Bangladesh. Somehow you have a very unique sense of time management. When you have a meeting, monologue after monologue. So the meeting, which can be finished within 1 hour, can take 3 hours. So there's no sense of calculating opportunity cost. So the invitation came from Jiru, said it's between 10 and 1, 3 hours again. I thought, come on, why? Why 3 hours? So maybe 3 hours is just the shortest unit of time for Bangladeshi. But outside the country, 3 hours is truly long time. But today, there has not been monologues, but still, you wanted to have 3-hour meeting, maybe for the sake of guests, not for the sake of speaker. So that's how you are really organizing things. Sometimes I feel that the Bangladesh hospitality is really wonderful, great, best in the world. But no doubt, that's imposing. So sometimes I feel that host is showing hospitality for the sake of showing hospitality. For one's own sake, host is showing hospitality. I'm not trying to be mean to you. I'm sharing my observation after having spent 3 years in Bangladesh. I may sound unfair, but I thought it would be fair to say this kind of thing at the outset. Bangladesh is a fascinating country. I have no regret. It's really a worthwhile assignment. So very enjoyable assignment, no doubt about that. But still, there are some challenges for us to take on. So that is Bangladesh. I think I'm supposed to talk about Japan-Bangladesh relationship. already was discussed that Japan and Bangladesh has had very wonderful 50 years of partnership. Japan has been the largest or the most prominent development partner for Bangladesh. Yes, Japan and Bangladesh have been the time-tested friends, no doubt about that. So I think we are ready to go on, but we need to continue to make efforts. We need to continue to come up with new ideas, new programs, new menus to make this relationship going further. It's like rickshawara is pedaling the uphill, you know. So that is some kind of effort each side needs to do. So we should not take it for granted that our partnership will go on forever. So particularly now on, I think Bangladesh is growing. We are graduating from LDC. So I think we should make our partnership even more mutually beneficial. So far, our partnership may have been the one that Japan was trying to cooperate, trying to provide cooperation or assistance for the development of Bangladesh. But since you are becoming a big nation in the region, so it's even more important that we try to make a mutually beneficial relationship. I had a chance to attend twin celebrations, March last year, Bangabandhu's birth centenary and 50 years of your independence. Really wonderful 10 days event. 5 leaders from the region came. That clearly showed Bangladesh's stature in the region was enhanced because of the economic progress, economic development. And Bangladesh, Dhaka, was the center of regional diplomacy. It was Bangladesh which took the initiative of regional connectivity. So I think those are the things which were demonstrated during a 10-day event. So I tell this story to every Japanese who comes to my office, who comes to my residence. Yes, Bangladesh is growing. Bangladesh is now playing even larger role in the region. So our role is to support Bangladesh's increasing role in the region. So I think that's very, very important. I think that is also telling you that the nature of partnership is transforming. So I think that is the kind of thing we should look at more, rather than to talk about the cooperation for economic development, assistance, etc., etc., etc. So we should be mindful that the nature of partnership needs to change for the future. So this is the first point I want to make at the outset of my conversation. I think today's event is very significant in light of the timing. As you will know that Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is visiting Japan soon. So that's one thing. And also in December, there will be a series of very symbolic opening of cooperation projects. One is Arai Hajal Special Economic Zone. It's called Bangladesh Special Economic Zone. Another is the opening of Dhaka Metro Line 6. First of the 3 lines which Japan is now engaged with. So the 10 kilometer between Uttara and Agargaon will start its operation, most likely from the last week of December. So ahead of us, there will be a series of symbolic events which show the level of cooperation, which would pave the way for further collaboration between the 2 countries. I think in that sense, today's session is very, very important. I look at our partnership from 4 dimensions. First one is partner for development. Yes, we are development partner. Second one is trade and investment partner. And third partnership is partner for free and open Indo-Pacific. And fourth and last one is the comprehensive partnership, which needs to be elevated to a new height. So first one, development partnership. I think this is still the mainstay of our partnership. Yes, we have long history of cooperation, maybe starting from this Bongo Bond visit 1973. That clearly paved the way for various collaboration, cooperation for development subsequently. It was Bongo Bondu who made a request to the Japanese side, the counterpart, then Prime Minister Kakue Tanaka, the construction of Jomna Bridge. So after 20 years and a bit, Jomna Bridge was completed with a cooperation from Japan. And 74 January, only 3 months after Bongo Bondu's visit to Japan, the delegation from Japan Chamber of Commerce was sent to Bangladesh. 25, 26 top executives of Japanese companies came, and they visited the places like Dhaka, Chittagong, Siret, Cox's Bazar, Sundarabon, everywhere. And they looked at the situation of Bangladesh in 1974. But this visit clearly set the tone of company-to-company collaboration, also the subsequent ODA collaboration as well. So to make the story very, very short, I think, and after that, we did some collaboration in agriculture field, institutions like Bali Agricultural University. The Japan provided cooperation to those organizations, and JICA volunteers worked hard, community development, rural development, even agriculture area. So some of the varieties, the new varieties in Bangladesh, were actually introduced by JICA volunteer in agriculture. Variety like daikon radish, which was introduced by JICA volunteer to this country. So since 2014, our focus is very much on this mega infrastructure project. 2014 was a year in which 2 prime ministers exchanged visit. They made mutual visit. So 2014 in May, Sheikh Hasina went to Japan, and in September, the late Shinzo Abe went to Tokyo. So first time in the same year, the prime minister exchanged the visit. So clearly that was a very, very epoch-making year. Then they came up with this idea or initiative of Bay of Bengal Growth Belt Initiative. Along with the initiative, we have been doing cooperation. Dhaka Metro is one. This airport, Terminal 3 extension is another. We're also doing Matabali deep sea port development. So this is to copy the Japanese success. The Japan's economic achievement was done with the establishment of industrial belt zone between Tokyo, Osaka, and extended to Kyushu area. But initially along the Pacific coast from Tokyo to Osaka. So belt zone was created. And industrialization was very much concentrated on along this belt zone. So when we came up with this initiative of Big B, Bay of Bengal Industrial Growth Belt, so at least in the minds of those on the Japanese side, there was this idea Pacific Belt Zone, which achieved the high growth of Japan during 1960s and 1970s. So we still hope that we'll be able to accelerate our work on Big B, and we can accelerate the construction of Matabari deep sea port. Although under the economic circumstances, the current situation makes everybody not easy to continue to work on big projects. But I think this is a very, very important joint work for the two governments, and particularly Matabari is a game changer for the country's economic development, for the regional economic development, enhancement of regional connectivity. So I think Matabari is going to be the key of, prosperity, development of this country later on. So our focus will be there. You know, currently the level of Japanese ODA on a commitment basis annually is just over $3 billion US dollars. So over the last 2 fiscal years, our ODA exceeded this $3 billion mark. And at the moment, there are only 2 countries in the world which receives the Japanese ODA yen loan beyond $3 billion mark. One is Bangladesh, and another is India. So from now on, I suppose that either India or Bangladesh will be the top recipient of Japanese official development assistance. 10 years ago, our ODA yen loan on a commitment basis to Bangladesh was only 0.3 billion US dollars. So in 10 years, the value grew 10 folds. So this clearly shows that Bangladesh is growing. The needs for infrastructure in this country are growing. So we have been trying to fill the gap of the needs of infrastructure by providing a yen loan. So we will continue to do so as long as the Bangladesh requires Japan to do so, as long as the macroeconomic management of Bangladesh stays reasonable, and as long as there is no issue of debt sustainability in this country. So recently IMF concluded agreement on their loan, but the mission was telling us that there is no issue of debt sustainability. They would be surprised if the level of the debt will become unsustainable. So I think in a way the mission sort of endorsed this debt sustainability issue in Bangladesh towards the future. Human resources development, that's what was mentioned. I think that's going to be a very, very important area. So we have been doing some primary education collaboration, to a certain extent higher level education, nursing college and so forth. But maybe we should focus more on human resources development for industry. So manufacturing human resources need to be trained. Skills development will be very, very important. Any country, younger generations are required to be ahead of the curve of technological development, to be a good and capable labor force. So Bangladesh is no exception. So Bangladesh, in a way, needs to step up the country's effort to provide better education for younger generations. So I think the educational institutions need to field those human resources which are capable with the development of technology to be a very good labor force, human resources for those economic development. So there are probably more sort of conscious, targeted efforts will be required between the two countries. So what we can do about the human resources development, manufacturing human resources development, skills development of the country. That will be a new challenge for us. At the moment, we have been, so far we have been focusing on mega infrastructure, hardware of the economy, so to speak. But as Bangladesh graduates from LDC, Bangladesh needs more, better software of the economy. So our cooperation also needs to be geared towards that aspect too. Second thing is this, have I got time? Sure. Okay. Second partnership is trade and investment. So as for trade, I think was explained by Mr. Das. The Bangladesh export is around $1 billion US dollars annually. The Japanese export is about $2 billion annually. And it is growing. And according to BGMEA, this fiscal year, your export to Japan, the RMG export, may exceed the 2 billion mark. Then that's going to be the first time your export reach that level. Japan used to be the largest export market to Bangladesh in Asia. But now India took us over. So in Asia, India is the largest export market for Bangladesh. But we are the second. But if RMG goes further and it reaches this 2 billion mark, then Japan is again going to be the largest export market of Bangladesh. So BGM also focused that by 2030, the export will reach 10 billion US dollars. So that's their expectation and forecast. So then, naturally, with the increase of investment, the Japan's export to Bangladesh will also increase. So if Bangladesh exports reach 10 billion, if Japan's export reaches 10 billion correspondingly, then our two-way trade can be 20 billion US dollars. I think that is the kind of thing we should look at. And a good vehicle is this free trade agreement, economic partnership agreement, which the two leaders are supposed to come up with. So we are working on to initiate this joint study of free trade agreement, economic partnership agreement, by the time Honorable Prime Minister goes to Japan. So this economic partnership agreement will provide a new framework of trade and investment. That is not only to deal with the tariffs, the goods of trade, but trade in services, investment rules, intellectual property right, customs rules, and so forth. So it is going to be a wider than FTA. That is our intention, because that will be beneficial and useful for the two economies. Bangladesh side, of course, wants to maintain this GSP. Currently, 98% of your export on tariff line basis to Japan is duty-free. So our hope is that we can maintain this as a result of negotiation ahead of us. So because this is free trade agreement, so we cannot make this less freer trade agreement. So similarly, since this is going to be free trade agreement, particularly trade in goods, Bangladesh side needs to reduce the level of tariffs on those items which are exported from Japan, parts, automobile parts, or even chemicals or agricultural products. So I hope sincerely that Bangladesh side will be ready to discuss and reduce possibly tariff lines or tariffs tariff levels for those items of Japanese side interest. I talked about Arai Hajal. Arai Hajal will provide wonderful opportunities for not only Japanese but also international companies to make investment here. Arai Hajal SEZ is the first special economic zone designed and developed by Japanese company. Now Japanese company Sumitomo forms joint venture with BESA in the name of BSEZ, Bangladesh Special Economic Zone. Of course, I think investment by Japanese companies will be affected, the current economic situation and corona pandemic. But zone will be opening in December. March next year at the earliest, some companies will start operate in Arai Hajal. So I cannot tell you how many companies will be there in March. But there will be some companies which will start operation in Arai Hajal next year. And this is going to be the best special economic zone for Japanese and international investors. The best in the sense that the best facilities, best infrastructures, and hopefully best incentives to be given by the government. They are among those companies which are operating there. They are going to make a declaration, the corruption-free declaration will be there. Yes, this is one of the issues foreign investors need to deal with or struggle. So thereby, those companies in the zone, special economic zone, will make declaration. So special economic zone, the companies there, totally free from corruption. So I hope this sort of declaration will work. So that's one of our expectations regarding Arai Hajal Special Economic Zone. There are some issues of the investment climate. I'm not going into detail here. Maybe if you're interested, I will go into detail, but customs clearance, taxation, remittance. So those are the issues Japanese companies has been faced with. So challenges are there. So we do hope that there will be an improvement of business environment or regulatory reform by the government here. So third pillar is a partner for free and open Indo-Pacific. Free and open Indo-Pacific is a vision Japan has been promoting since this Abe administration. So this is the vision, which means to share values like market economy, freedom of navigation, rule-based international order. And this is a framework in which we promote practical cooperation. Practical cooperation in those areas like infrastructure building, connectivity, maritime safety, maritime security, even disaster prevention or humanitarian assistance, including Rohingya refugees, if I apply the idea to the situation in this country. And also we are keen to do, under this Free Open Indo-Pacific FOIP vision, to promote our cooperation on capacity building of law enforcement officers, Coast Guard, or even police. So this is a very important element too. And this FOIP is a very comprehensive vision. So this is not targeted at any country. This is not to intend to contain any country. So we are talking about common goods, public goods, free, open Indo-Pacific. So and we regard Bangladesh as partner to this free and open Indo-Pacific FOIP. Bangladesh shares values with us. Bangladesh is ready to allow us to continue the practical cooperation, mega infrastructure, connectivity, and others. So we will continue to promote our cooperation, practical cooperation, even to pursue, even to realize free, open Indo-Pacific with Bangladesh. The final one is how we call our partnership. Back in 2014, we call our partnership comprehensive partnership. And we intend to elevate this to a new height. So one idea is to call this strategic partnership. So hopefully, by the time Honorable Prime Minister goes, we can agree to call our partnership strategic partnership. Then we will need new elements, new meat for our partnership. What can be the new elements to promote our partnership further? I think we can focus more on cooperation on defense security area. In January this year, 2 of the Japan self-defense forces ships did a port call to Chittagong. So they are minesweepers. They are on the way to Berlin to participate in international exercise. But they did the port call, Chottogram. That was the curtain raiser for this 50 years celebration of our diplomatic partnership. And they did the joint exercise with Bangladesh Navy. We are now doing international fleet review in Japan. And Navy Chief of Bangladesh is now in Japan. Although Bangladesh Navy couldn't send ship this time around because they are doing international fleet review in Cox's Bazar in December. So the international fleet reviews in Japan and in Bangladesh are too close. That was why your side couldn't send the ship to Japan. Our side cannot send the ship to Bangladesh. But I'm sure that port calls, exchanging high-ranking officials, this sort of cooperation will be more frequent. And also now we are looking at the possibility of exporting defense-related equipment to Bangladesh. So one Japanese company is showing interest in exporting defense-related equipment. So hopefully we can work this out sooner rather than later. So this is clearly the area we can add to our existing spectrum of cooperation, defense or security area. And I talked about the free trade agreement, economic partnership agreement. If it's done, that is clearly the new element, new meat for our partnership. So beyond that, hopefully we can have more exchange of people. So more people should come to Bangladesh from Japan. More people should go to Japan, not only for studying Japanese university, or just for tourism purposes. The Bangladesh people are not really keen to visit Japan for tourism. I don't know why. Maybe there is a psychological distance. But I heard that. Cost? But yeah, the Professor Mamun said it's because of cost. But I heard more than 2,000 Bangladesh are going to Qatar to see World Cup. You are going, semi-final and final. Both. I was told that around 2,000 Bangladeshi will be inside the stadium of the final. Then, what is this cost issue, Professor Mamun? I don't really think that the cost is a challenge. I hope that your visit to Japan for tourism can be a special event. So, but it's very important that we can have new perception.
Medical tourism is one of the new areas where you can actually look into.
Medical tourism, there is an issue of cost. Yeah. Also, maybe language could be a barrier for medical tourism. Yeah, but whatever it is, we need to see more, yeah, people contact, visit. And the good news is Biman is now considering to resume direct flight, Narita, Dhaka. So I don't know how soon, but some people say that maybe around spring of next year, Biman can resume direct flight. Then Tokyo and Dhaka will be connected within 6 hours. So 6 hours is a very, very short flight time. From Tokyo, Dhaka will be closer than Bangkok, Singapore, Jakarta. Only 2 capitals in ASEAN, namely Hanoi and Manila, are closer. But less than 6 hours distance is very, very close. But I'm sure that then psychological distance between us will be reduced. That's a very, very important element. I don't think I should go on further, Jiru. Maybe I should stop here. But no. I'll just, I'm going to close my conversation here. But we are ready to continue our collaboration, our cooperation, our partnership. I often say that Japan will continue to stand by Bangladesh in its development journey. So that is our hope and expectation. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency, Ambassador Rito Naoki, for your exciting speech. And let's start our conversation with this. It has been 3 years since you joined your office in Bangladesh in October 2019. What is your overall experience with Bangladesh in the past 3 years? You have mentioned few things, but would you like to add anything else?
Thank you. The Bangladesh is the fastest growing economy. Dhaka is the most vibrant capital in the world, I would say. So no doubt this country will be the fastest growing economy in this decade, in spite of difficulties. But now this crisis is mainly because of the outer element. So, and Bangladesh was coming back very strongly from corona pandemic. The Nikkei Asia, this newspaper said that Bangladesh was one of the 5 best country which bounced back from corona pandemic. So that is really showing the I think growth capability of this country and resilience of this economy. So the current crisis may take for a while, but I'm sure that once all of us get out of this tunnel, then Bangladesh will come back to this growth orbit, then fastest growing in economy in Asia, no doubt about that. So the fact that this dynamism is there makes our diplomatic lives very, very exciting and very busy. So, somehow, not only me, but many ambassadors, high commissioners, find our diplomatic lives in Dhaka very demanding and very, very busy, not only because of this time management of the country, but also, opportunities are here and there. So there are, things we need to do to promote bilateral collaboration. The opportunities for us to work for the development of country, so exchanging people. So I think Bangladesh is providing really exciting opportunities for diplomats too, because of the development this country is showing. Because of the stability the nation is enjoying right now. I think that's a very, very important part. But as I said at the outset, it's really exciting. It's been really exciting 3 years. And I can't think of any other place where Japanese ambassador could enjoy more his or her job.
Thank you.
No, seriously. No, I'm not a diplomat.
Ambassador Ito, as far as we know, and you have mentioned in your introductory speech that your stay in Bangladesh is coming to an end. There are some amazing works you have done so far in Bangladesh. What do you see as your biggest achievement during your stay, your time in Bangladesh?
I thought you were going to explain what sort of amazing work I did. So I need to think.
That's a diplomatic introduction.
I don't know really. So 50 years celebration, that's a very memorable thing. So this year I told my colleagues that we should organize 50 events to celebrate 50 years. And so far, I don't know how many exactly you have done, probably 44 or 45. So still we have 6 weeks to go. So it's likely that we can achieve this 50 events goal. So, but initially we did the official celebration because we recognized Bangladesh as sovereign nation March 10th, 1972. So Foreign Ministry organized an event at Foreign Service Academy, and Dr. Momen, Foreign Minister, attended. So by the way, he mentioned that there are 3 Bengalis who had strong impact on a bilateral relationship. So first person was Tagore, and second person was Judge Pal, and third person was, of course, Bangabandhu. So those 3 gentlemen really affected our partnership. So I'm expecting there will be 4th soon, but I don't know how soon we can have this 4th person, which will be talked about, so for many years to come. Then we organized Bangabandhu's photo exhibition. We issued Bangabandhu's visit photo book, and then we did the screening of Bangabandhu's visit. Sorry, everything about Bangabandhu, but that's very important for us to look back the 50 years of our history. So no doubt his visit really set the very strong basis of our partnership for over the last 50 years. Then we did some event. We organized the event, a coaching event for baseball national team of Bangladesh. Believe it or not, you have a national baseball team. I don't think most of you don't believe this. You're playing baseball. So police team is a national team of Bangladesh. And I think this month they are participating in West Asian baseball tournament. So they are the competitive, the international level. So, but the Japanese professional team, Tokyo Yomiuri Giants, did the online training, January. And then the 2 coaches will be coming to Bangladesh in December. So because baseball is close to our heart, cricket is not. So that is why we are so keen to promote this cooperation, collaboration through baseball. But this is something new. We started this year. And then from yesterday, we are having a former medalist of this short distance running, somebody named Mr. Izuka, who got silver medal, Rio de Janeiro, 100-meter by 4 relay. So I think he's visiting some schools and sports facilities and so forth. So I don't know, I'm not really answering to your question, but so I'm trying to widen the areas of collaboration through 50 years anniversary events. I think that's something I tried to do, and to a certain extent I may have been able to achieve. This year, for iftar, for the first time, the Japanese embassy organized the iftar party. But this iftar party was rather unique. So we had tea ceremony together. So very, very unusual way of thinking, combining iftar and Japanese traditional culture. But in a way, tradition and tradition. And we invited mainly students from Dhaka University. I don't know to what extent they enjoyed iftar party and the tea ceremony or not. But I think they appreciate the concept that we do combined the iftar party and tea ceremony. But that's something new.
Indeed.
So I don't really think that it has never been thought about. So having iftar and tea party together. But we try to sort of expand the area of cooperation, area of collaboration. And that's something I try to do, yes.
Indeed, that's great, and thank you very much. Ambassador, Bangladesh and Japan are set to sign a memorandum of understanding MU on trade cooperation. The signing will take place during Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's visit to Japan on November 29 to 30th. Officials say it might act as a precursor to a free trade agreement. What do you believe about the potential of a FTA between Bangladesh and Japan?
That's a very important question, and I think this has a very, very big potential for us to grow our trade and investment between us. We need this new framework, free trade agreement or economic partnership agreement. We prefer economic partnership agreement wider than a free trade agreement. So beyond the graduation, so important element is private companies' participation in the partnership, particularly trade and investment. So in order to encourage private sectors involvement, you need a new framework, free trade agreement, EPA. So I think in order to encourage private sector involvement, free trade agreement, EPA is very, very important. And at the same time, I think if you start negotiations and if you come to realize what are the issues, what are the challenges more of in the eyes of private companies, particularly by the prospective investors in Japan, then the government side here will be in a position to think twice and make a decision what they should do in terms of regulatory reform or in terms of structural reform for the resilience of the economy. So I think exercise of negotiation and conclusion of free trade agreement will have immense benefit for those officials, government to work on regulatory reform or structural reform. Structural reform, by which I even mean the tax reform. I talked about the importance of reducing tariffs, but in order for the government to reduce tariffs, you need to find other sources. You really need to redress the balance between indirect tax and direct tax. Now you are heavily dependent on indirect tax, VAT tariffs 80% plus. But as long as you keep this tax structure, I don't think you can reduce much of tariffs. But it's imperative for the country to go for FTAs, EPAs. Then it's inevitable that your tax structure needs to be reviewed. The average tariffs need to be reduced. Then how you can find the revenue sources? Naturally, you need to find the larger revenue from direct tax. You need to widen tax base of direct tax. So we are talking about FTA, EPA But I want to remind you that in order to promote FTA, EPA, you need to do this domestic economic policy reform, particularly tax reform. So the issues are linked each other. So that is the point I want to raise this. And I talked about the importance of regulatory reform. Under the corona pandemic, government relaxed some of the regulations. So this parent company loan for operational cost of subsidiaries, there was a relax of regulation. Also, they changed the rule regarding dual use of container. So the container used to be necessary to run only one way with loaded the cargo, but from port to EPZ. From port to EPZ, the one way you can carry the containers. On the way back from EPZ to port, the truck needs to be empty. So there's no logic behind, but the government changed the rule. Now the container can be sort of dual use container can be possible. Also, registration of motorbikes fee reduced. The regulation to dispose old unused machines, vehicles inside the EPZ, we saw improvement. But some issues remaining. I said customs clearance, taxation issue, remittance. So there are some issues there. Also the cash incentives, RMG export, cash incentives. Only Type C company is eligible. Type C company is 100% domestic. So when Type C company export RMG to new market, including Japan, 4% cash incentive is available. Whereas Type A and Type B companies in economic processing zone, export processing zone, 100% foreign joint venture, they are not eligible for this cash incentive. So clearly there was a difference. The level of cash incentives available for Type A, Type B, and Type C company. The same stuff, export of RMG to new market. But this doesn't make sense as a policy, because the intention of policy is to expand export from here to new market RMG products. But Japanese companies here are not eligible for cash incentives in exporting RMG to Japan. But Bangladesh companies are eligible for cash incentives, 4%, exporting the same types of project to Japan, or Japan, Korea, China, wherever, the new market, outside Europe and US. So some people say this is discrimination. True. But I would say more, the policy doesn't make sense, in light of the intention of the policy. So I have been raising this for 3 years, but unfortunately I have not seen any progress yet. So my days are numbered. I'll be here around less than 1 month. But as I have done now, I will continue to raise this, taking the opportunities. Those are the things related to FTA.
And Bangladesh has been trying to make the Rohingya repatriation happen for a long time now. Now the heinous act done by the Myanmar military has been recognized as genocide by the United States of America. Will the Japanese government put any sanctions in place to pressure Myanmar to speed up repatriation, or does the Japanese government plan to help with the refugee crisis in some other way?
This is a very important, crucial challenge for international community, Rohingya issue, Rohingya crisis. So Japan has been cooperative to Bangladesh government, appreciating the efforts made by the government here. So first opened the border and allowed refugees in and provided shelters for them. So since this mass flux, more than 5 years have passed, the situation is very, very unfortunate. And repatriation is of course the priority. So we are ready to work with Bangladesh government for repatriation. But unfortunately, the situation in Myanmar will not allow the, say, early repatriation. So they may be able to start a pilot repatriation, but very, very difficult to see the, say, repatriation in full scale will start soon. Still, the Japanese government is communicating its voice to Myanmar military that Myanmar military needs to halt violence, release all detained, and restore democracy, knowing that unless you see the improvement of the situation in Myanmar, it will be very difficult for us to see repatriation to Myanmar. We are working on some of the humanitarian assistance in Rakhine State and so forth. But I think at the moment, political situation in Rakhine and Myanmar will not allow us to see early repatriation in full scale. So that's a big challenge. But we'll continue to work on this top priority, how we can make enabling environment for repatriation in Myanmar. But since the situation is being protracted, so we also need to work on how we can improve the living condition of refugees inside camp as well as on the Bachanchal Island. And particularly important thing is to equip refugees, to prepare refugees for eventual repatriation, return to Myanmar. So education, skills development, livelihood opportunities. Those three areas are very key areas for those refugees to prepare themselves for eventual return. So hopefully we'll be able to step up our cooperation, although the funding in general is in decline because of the lapse of time. So now the stage is from humanitarian to getting to be development stage. Also, Ukrainian crisis diverted attention from other parts of the world. So it's a big challenge, but we really need to continue working on providing funding to UN agencies in particular for the purpose of resilience of refugees. By the way, this is a jute bag produced by refugee women in Camp 5 Kutupalong. So project by UNHCR and local NGO forum. Every day 130, 140 production volunteers are working there to produce this. So this is only for distribution purpose inside the camp. But this is the opportunity for skills development as well as livelihood. So my hope is that this sort of successful examples will be replicated inside the camp. And recently the Japanese company Uniqlo started to produce hygiene kit in 4 areas in the camps. 2 areas in registered camp and 2 areas in new camps. So in collaboration with Pacific Jeans, that's a Bangladesh textile company. So they decided a new project similar to this, but this time hygiene kits are being produced. Again, the distribution purpose is inside the camp. But I think this is the first example that private company was involved in the project inside the camp. So the more the situation goes, the wider, I think, participation may be required, not only by UN agencies, by energy non-governmental organizations, but also private companies. So I think we need every possible source of engagement, involvement, intervention. So in that sense, I really welcome the Uniqlo Japanese companies initiative. And I hope that even Bangladesh companies will be able to play a role providing skills development, livelihood opportunities inside Camp Cox's Bazar, as well as Bashanchal, particularly Bashanchal. So the government said, so better facility, better infrastructure, safer, more spacious, and livelihood opportunities will be available. So now 31,000 people are there on the island. So we support this relocation policy. We funded twice to UN agencies, WFP, UNHCR, January, August. We will continue this. But for skills development, livelihood opportunities, so we may need the involvement, participation of private sector as well. But now Japanese company is part of this. Why not Bangladesh companies to participate, skills development, livelihood opportunity inside the camp and Bashanchal Island. So this is what I want to share. Thank you.
Thank you. Ambassador, does Japan have any interest in observing the coming national elections in Bangladesh? Do you have any interest, Japan government, any interest in observing the upcoming elections in Bangladesh?
Elections. What do you want me to say? No, of course.
You say what you have observed last 3 years, and especially on 2018.
Yes, of course.
He came here in 2019.
We expect elections will be free and fair. That's our strong hope. 2018, even Japanese embassy issued a statement of concern immediately after the general elections. That was more focused on violence, but it's very unusual that Japanese embassy issued a statement of concern immediately after elections of any country. So naturally, we expect that next election will be better one. Next election will be free and fair. So I heard there was an example of this ballot box stuffing. So police officers stuffed the ballot box on the previous night. I didn't hear any similar example in any other countries. So ballot box stuffing should never be repeated. So free and fair election needs to be done here. So that's my strong hope. And I know that the Chief Election Commissioner is working for this free and fair election. Government is telling us that they are going to conduct free and fair election. So very, very important that free and fair election will be conducted. But at the same time, this is something each political party should decide. But hopefully, the elections will be participatory. So major opposition parties will participate. That's my hope too.
Thank you. And my last question to you, that we know that you have a soft corner for Bangladeshi songs, and you do sing some of them too. We heard in many occasions. In the past 3 years, what has been your observation regarding Bangladeshi culture? What can we do to bolster cultural exchange and strengthen cultural ties between Bangladesh and Japan? And would love to hear a song, at least few lines from you.
Really?
Yeah, really. Please.
Anandoloke. Agnel poroshimoni. 초아오 프라하네 에지본 분노코로 에지본 분노코로 에지본 분노코로 에지본 분노코로 도혼다네 에아그네르 포로시모니 초아오 프라하네. Bangladesh culture. I know very little about Bangladesh culture. So, so I have been listening to Tagore music, if not every night, but whenever I have time. So it was so soothing. So obviously I don't understand the meaning of the lyrics, the songs, but I would say the Tagore music is a very healing music. So not only because of Tagore's connection with Japan, whether he went to Japan 4 times or 5 times, but yes, he had a very strong love for haiku, no doubt about that. His book, Japan Jatuli, actually quoted 2 hikes. Yeah, it's really amazing. But you know, I found some similarity of tunes of Tagore music and Japanese folk song or elegy sort of songs. So that's another reason why I found Tagore music so comfortable. So I was really fortunate that I found this music so attractive to me. So as I said, the ambassador's job in Dhaka is very demanding, very tiring job. But sometimes Tagore's music healed my feeling. So Tagore's music gave me energy. So that was something I really want to thank for Bengali culture. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. And that's from my side. And now the floor is open. No introduction, just a question. Please be brief and introduce yourself. Ms. Munira Khan, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Zilu, for giving me the scope to ask His Excellency NAOKI. His Excellency, I work for election. I'm an observer. I'm the president of Fair Election Monitoring Alliance, FEMA. You are telling us about the development partnership between Japan and Bangladesh. And this development or economical development, I'm asking about human development. In 2014, Japan government has given FEMA fund for giving education, voter education, and polling agent training of all the political parties. And when it was not participatory, the Japan government has asked us to return the money to them. Yes. It was for voter education. It was for polling agent. It was not for any political parties. I said, I'm asking you, if what happens is this time, and we started our program, we have lost much money for that, but we had to return all the money to Japan government. And I am asking you, and if any organization this time again submits a project for voter education, not for any political party, because for human development, for our voters to understand what is fair and free election, we need voter education. And I am asking you that if any organization this time asks for fund again for voter education, what would happen? Do you think your government will allow us to take the fund again? Thank you.
Thank you. I think we can take 2-3 more questions. Lieutenant General Aminul Kurim, please. Please introduce yourself. And yeah.
Excellency, thank you very much for an excellent and very, I would say, humorous presentation. We enjoyed it, especially your Tagore song. Yeah, great. Yeah. I'm Aminul Karim. I'm a retired soldier. I was Lieutenant General in in Bangladesh Army, and when I retired, I was the commandant of the National Defense College. I'll have just two short questions. One is related to Bangladesh economy. Our export basket is very limited. It's only limited to RMG and textile and so on and so forth. So what is your suggestion to expand this, this basket of limited export items? And this is a big challenge for Bangladesh. How can Japan help on that? And number two, on the defense cooperation, will Japan be ever ready to supply us submarines, corvettes, and frigates in terms of defense cooperations? Because you all have the state-of-the-art military gadgets. Thank you. State-of-the-art military equipment or gadgets. You have that, I'm saying that. Would you like to share that with Bangladesh? Thank you. Thank you, Excellency.
Major General Syed Mohammad Ibrahim. Yeah.
Excellency, again compliments to you on an excellent talk you delivered. And the finishing line of the song really takes us forward. We hope you'll carry the feelings forward when you go back from Bangladesh after a couple of weeks. I am a former soldier and now a political worker, Major General Ibrahim. We are beginning on a new dimension of relationship between Bangladesh and Japan. That's on the defense cooperation. We're all hoping for the best. Would a deep sea port in Matabari, as planned about a decade ago, be helpful towards greater cooperation between Japan and Bangladesh, keeping in mind you are wanting an open and free Bay of Bengal and the interests of Quad? This is one point. And second point, what can you do to educate our people in addition to Munira Khan's question of providing funds? What else can you do to educate our people on what is free and what is fair and how to exercise whatever freedom they have, irrespective of the bindings by political governments? Thank you, sir.
Ambassador.
All questions are very, very difficult to find an answer, right? So I thought you are going to treat me more kindly. So first question was elections. I thought I said as much as I could tell you during my earlier response. But it was very unfortunate that was it embassy which asked you to return the money? Japanese government. How much was it? $10 million Dhaka. Really, very unfortunate. So I would like to know more detail about this. Why we had to ask you to return the money?
I know that, sir. because it was for the voter education, it was for the training for all the polling agents of all political parties. Because our political agent does not know their duties, what to do in the election booth. So when some parties withdraw, they said that you are not going to give all the political polling agents, so please return our money.
Yeah,
but what about the voter education? We
You
needed
you
voter
explained
education.
that, but you know.
This is a human development, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, but human development, well, probably that was related to politics, so inevitably. So, but I think it's very unfortunate that we had to ask you to return the money. As I said, you know, whether any political party participates in the election or not, that's a decision by the political party. It's a judgment called by a political party. So it was very unfortunate that we had to link the human resources, education, and the participation of the political party. So for next general election, whether we will be able to provide any assistance cooperation, that is something under consideration. So I cannot tell you right now. But I know that it's very important to provide education for voters regarding fair and free elections. So hopefully international community will be able to provide some sort of cooperation or collaboration for that. But again, my hope is that the major political parties will participate in the election next time, and particularly under the circumstances, major parties are saying that they will not participate in the election. Then I don't know why it's possible for us to provide similar voter education. So this is a sort of chicken and egg situation. But my strong hope is that all the political parties, particularly major political parties, will soon make a decision to participate. So that's my strong hope. Then we don't want to see that the violence will dictate the course of politics. So all the parties need to exert the utmost restraint. But in order to I think bring about more sort of contained, managed situation. Even for that end, I hope that the major political parties will soon make a decision to participate. Maybe I said a little bit too strong a statement here, but I mean it. So then, export basket. Very difficult question. I wouldn't know this answer because you don't know the answer. And when you talk about the diversification of industry, you sometimes say our priorities are 12 sectors. That you don't mean prioritization. If you come up with 2 or 3 sectors, that's prioritization. But when you come up with 12 sectors, that basically covers all the industry sectors. But important thing is you need to come up with specific sectors, and you need to focus on that, and you need to project your resources in those specific limited number of sectors. So I was hoping that the Japanese company will make investment into automobile industry, complete knockdown. So because we helped the Ministry of Industries to come up with automobile development, automobile sector development policy last year, but it didn't happen. So market condition is not there yet for the Japanese automobile companies to do complete knockdown production. But you know, whether that's automobile or light engineering or leather. So you need really focus on 3, 4 specific promising sectors, and you need to provide budget resources for those limited number of sectors. I think that is how you need to do if you want to diversify or if you want to come up with other key export-oriented industries or sectors. So, and at the same time, I think this country needs to be more aware on the importance of competition. These countries are competing with other countries, particularly when it comes to export-oriented industry. You are competing with neighboring countries, not only India, but also Vietnam, Philippines, Indonesia, those countries. But to what extent the even industry people here are aware of the competition necessary among those neighboring countries? And at the same time, you need to be more cooperative with those neighboring countries. Your economy needs to be integrated into those neighboring countries. Your supply chain, or your economy needs to be integrated into supply chain of those neighboring countries, particularly countries towards the east. So we have already talked about FTA, EPA, but one great vehicle is RCEP, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, RCEP. No, that's not true. That's not true. Once I was a chief negotiator of RCEP, China was not taking lead. China was one of the two countries which was very reluctant to have an ambitious deal. This is the reality. People say this framework is led by China. No, China is there. China decided to agree on the deal of RCEP because they thought that that's for the merit of the country itself. Unfortunately, India opted out. But this framework is 10 countries, ASEAN, 3 East Asian countries, Japan, China, Korea, Australia, New Zealand. So 15 countries are there. Yeah, but no, I don't really care what sort of role China does, seriously. Because that's how we feel. China is part of 15 countries. So maybe China says that we are doing the major role, we are doing leading role. But you shouldn't be really sort of influenced by that sort of perception. But important thing is, whoever in the sort of driver's seat, important thing is you need to be part of this 15 countries framework. This is a challenging task, but economically, purely economically, you will be benefited. So I would say the success of diversification of economy, success of Bangladesh being the supply chain of the region, joining RCEP is the key. So if you can join RCEP as you graduate from LDC, I think you will see a different situation in terms of your export-oriented industry. But otherwise, FDIs will for domestic market. So that's my reading. So then, defense. Yes, Japan lifted these restrictions in exporting defense-related equipment under Abe administration. So we have concluded some agreement with, I think, a handful of countries, mainly in ASEAN region. So now what we are going to do is to seek the possibility of arrangement between the two sides, Japan, Bangladesh, so that the Japanese company can export defense-related equipment. At the moment, our focus is on mobile radar system. So one of the Japanese company had a contract with Filipino Air Force. So it's in the public domain. So similar system is the one now the companies are looking at in exporting this country. Beyond that, nothing is on the horizon right now, so it may take a while. But even just a single item, if we are able to start exporting, I think that will be a very different scenario between the two countries in terms of defense cooperation. Then what was the next question? Was that Matabari? Yes. Matabari is very important project once it's completed. But now we are working on this first phase. So port, deep sea port with 300-meter long jetty and coal-fired power plants. Unit 1 and Unit 2. The coal-fired power plants will be ready in 2024. So then already this port is functioning for the equipment of a project. So, but second stage, the idea is to construct energy facilities like LNG terminal, LPG terminal. So I think execution of plan is a little bit delayed right now. But second phase includes construction of those energy terminals
as well as container facilities. And then third phase is bigger container facility. So how long it will take, you never know, maybe 10 years, 15 years. But then Matabari port will have almost equivalent capacity of container handling. So then deep sea port in Matabari will have same container handling capacity as Chittagong. Chittagong's port is not a deep sea port, but Matabari is a deep sea port. Mother vessel can directly come and go using Matabari deep sea port. You don't need to this reloading in Colombo port or Singapore or some ports in Indonesia. So this will open up real transportation opportunities for Bangladesh. So the Matabari is going to be the regional hub of transportation, energy hub, and industry hub. So they have a very grand view on the development of Matabari. But you really need to make a concentrated, coordinated effort to make this happen. So if each organization is taking rather individual decision in a disjointed manner, it will not happen soon. So coordination is a key. Cooperation among different organizations in the government are key. So this is something I very much hope that will happen soon. So because in light of the huge economic impact of Matabari, and also once Matabari becomes the port of regional hub, so this project will have strategic significance too. So that's another reason why we are really keen to do Matabari Deep Sea Port project.
Thank you. We have only 6-7 minutes. Please. There are many hands, but no, I'll come to you, please.
Thank you, Chair. Hello, Excellency. This is Mohsin. I work for Daily Shamokal. I'm a journalist. So my question is, I mean, we journalists are heavily criticized by the political parties as because they basically accuse us. We bring the ambassadors and the foreign dignitaries in our internal politics. As already you said regarding the election and our politics, so I can ask you a question. I mean, during the Prime Minister visit, upcoming visit, are you going to ask Bangladesh to hold a free, fair, and credible election? Like, or I mean, if it is come in the bilateral talk, then I guess it will understand this is the position of Japan, or rather, it is the position of you. Thank you.
Dr. Jamal, please.
Thank you. I have 3 questions.
No, just one question, and
one.
Please introduce
Then
yourself.
okay.
We have.
Okay. Okay.
But
In one sentence, just.
Excellency.
One is the whether the
Please introduce yourself.
My name is Dr. Jamaluddin Ahmed. I was the General Secretary of Bangladesh Economic Association and board member of the Central Bank of Bangladesh. My question to you that whether you are considering to discuss with the next visit our Prime Minister on 29th of November there in Japan, that would you, if government asks you to make the revenue collection system automation, can Japan government help that? Number 2 is the Bangladesh needs to turn its financial architecture from bank-based to bank plus stock market-based and the bond market-based. So how to convert that? If Japan government is interested to help Bangladesh government. And the third area is the reorganization of the stock market in Bangladesh, so that it can work as a influential force to finance the private sector and at the same time develop the stock market. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Professor Sardar, would you like to?
Your Excellency, this is
Professor Dr. Shardar Naeem, the chairman and chief surgeon of Japan-Bangladesh Friendship Hospital, as well as the chairman of the upcoming project, Japan-Bangladesh Friendship Retirement Home. Actually, I have two specific questions to you. I studied in Tokyo University, in the Department of Surgery, with Japanese people's tax money, because I studied there with scholarship. But our, the PhDs in clinical subjects from Japan was not really recognized by the government of Bangladesh, and we had to suffer a lot. We had to go for private sector to work on. We had to work on our private own platform. And now, suddenly, the huge, the scholarships, Momboshi scholarship in clinical subjects has reduced drastically. Nobody is going to Japan just because when they come back with even proper knowledge and education and expertise, they are not allowed to work in the government sectors, hospitals, because they are not recognized by the BMDC Council. That's one sector we should look into, because somebody was talking about, Raju Haq was talking about medical tourism. But other than medical tourism, we can produce good doctors by Japanese education and get them back and have them working in a proper place in this country. Number one, we should look into this matter. Number two, Japan is the forerunner in the field of elderly care, geriatric care. And this geriatric care is iconic in Japan, what I have seen when I was doing my PhD in Japan. So now I have started in a private sector to go for elderly care or geriatric care in this country. Do you think our government, though at the moment enjoying, as a whole the country enjoying the demographic dividend, but elderly care will be a burning issue in the future, so should we look into this matter also? Thank you very much.
Thank you. We are running out of time. Dr. Abdullah Mamun, please.
Jilwai, thank you so much. I have a brief question, Your Excellency. Historically, this is a donor-recipient partnership. Our donor-recipient attitude still exists there. We have a huge hunger to Japanese aid. You mentioned that it's transforming to comprehensive partnership, but you mentioned that now we'll be eyeing towards the strategic partnership. Are these two countries are really ready to move on to the direction of a strategic partnership, and what would be the issues, and what is your expectation to the true strategic partnership? Thank you.
And Mr. Faizullah Prajvi, the last one from Awami League.
Shall I give him a floor before I start? I mean,
no, please.
Okay. This is Excellency. Thank you very much, and thank you, Zilu Bhai. This is A.K. Fayazul Haq Raju. I'm a grassroots worker and political activist. I'm not going to raise any political questions though. I could sense that actually. My question is more related to economic issue here. As we know, Bangladesh is going through some political crunch at the moment. So we have some foreign reserve issues, and also in the wake of Ukraine-Russia war, we are having some sort of tough times, I would say. So would Japan, as Bangladesh's long-term development partner, come forward with some bailout package to as a cushioning factor? I hope that you understand my question. Thank you very much.
And Mr. Raju is the member of the International Affairs Committee of Bangladesh Awami League, ruling party. So, Ambassador, it's your turn. And
thank you very much. First question is whether I am representing Japanese government or not. I think I am. So my statement is something representing the view of the Japanese government. So I said even Japanese embassy issued a statement of concern immediately after 2018 elections. So our position is very, very clear. So non-violence, peaceful, free, fair election. So that was, I think, insinuated by the statement of concern back in 2018. Whether this issue will be discussed, that will be decision of Prime Minister himself. I wouldn't know. But regardless, so that is our government position. So free and fair election is a strong hope. And I think On that score, I'm representing the government view. So second thing was revenue. This is a very, very important subject, revenue reform. So I said tax reform, that's part of the structural reform the government needs to go through. Probably tax issue the most important or the most the toughest structural issue the government needs to address. So it may take a little while. If Bangladesh side wants Japanese side to cooperate, so we'll consider the possibility. But as so far, they have not asked us to do collaborate in terms of revenue reform of the country. So hopefully IMF will do some collaboration with the government here in light of the recent package they reached. The other two questions, I'm afraid, I don't have knowledge. So I don't think I'm qualified to answer. But the strengthening the capital market and so forth, very, very important for the Bangladesh economy, no doubt about that. And also the BSEC chairman will be going to Japan end of the month. So I hope that he will talk about how the country can strengthen the stock market with his counterpart when he goes to Japan. I don't know his details, his itinerary, but it's a really wonderful opportunity that BSEC chairman will be going there. So part of his mission is to organize and host investment roadshow in Japan. So BSEC and the BIDA jointly will organize investment roadshow in Japan for the first time in many, many years. So I hope this will attract very strong attention by Japanese companies. But beyond that, hopefully BSEC chairman will have time to discuss this important issue with his counterpart in Tokyo. Then I don't know why the number of students going to study in Japan on medics or clinical training decreasing, but if this non-recognition by the government side here was the reason, that's very, very unfortunate. But you know, you have so many wonderful medical doctors trained in Japan. You are the great example. And also somebody like the Dr. Rahman, the Yamagata Dhaka Friendship General Hospital. So I hope that younger generation will look to Japan, or look at Japan for the destination of clinical studies, medical studies. So if there is an issue we can solve, let's try to work out, let's try to solve together, because this is a very, very important area of cooperation, collaboration. So yeah, I think that's very important thing. Elderly care. Definitely this is the area that we can cooperate. We do hope that younger Bangladesh, the caregivers, will be able to go to Japan more, particularly under the scheme of specified sector workforce, SSW. So we concluded the MOC, Memorandum of Cooperation, the general on SSW back in August 2019. So far, unfortunately, only one Bangladesh went to Japan under this particular scheme. He's a caregiver. He's working in a hospital in Kagawa Prefecture. And he went to take an exam in Manila because the Japanese side has yet to conduct a test for any sector of SSW in Bangladesh. So that's why this young man need to go to Manila to take a test. But he passed the exam and he's now working as caregiver under SSW scheme in Kagawa Prefecture. So I hope that the increasing example will be there. And I also expect that Japanese side will start the test on caregiving in Dhaka sooner rather than later. Strategic partnership. Please enlighten me. What could be the strategic partnership between Japan and Bangladesh, because you are the Japan specialist. I think you know better than I am.
If you look at the Indian perspective, when you sign, it didn't go that well as expected. Are we ready to jump from comprehensive partnership to strategic partnership? Particularly, the example we have seen previously, that first JICA goes, development infrastructure, then FDI, JETRO follows the Japanese companies comes and moves. But we are talking about the 315 companies operating in Bangladesh. You know the reality as I do, that only 150 companies somehow surviving. You are negotiating with the government in terms of tax, policies, trade frauding, code, etc. But the ball is not rolling. Thereby I'm saying that do we really see that strategic partnership? So, and now new components are coming like military, other trade, etc. I know you are doing in 1 month's time. I'll be very happy to hear your gut feelings and your takeaway from this perspective.
We should get the ball rolling. No doubt about that.
In last 3 years, how far it rolled?
No, the COVID. So Prime Minister's visit was postponed by 2.5 years because of COVID. So we need to put a pause on the development of partnership seriously. So, but now we have new elements. Arai Hajal, the special economic zone. I think this will add some sort of a strategic element in terms of foreign direct investment attraction. And then we'll have hopefully FTA, EPA. Then we have this defense element. So I think the increasing number of new elements are there to talk about when Honorable Prime Minister goes to Japan at the end of the month. So compared to say 1 year back, very different situation. 1 year back was very difficult for us to talk about all of those 3 or 4 new elements of partnership. And all of those new elements have some dimension of a strategic partnership. So I'm hopeful that we'll be able to elevate this partnership to a new height. Whatever you call it, whether you call it comprehensive partnership or strategic partnership, whether we call this strategic partnership, only 2 prime ministers will make a decision at the end of a bilateral summit meeting. But whatever they call our partnership, I would say there are new elements which would bring us a very different, sort of a new territory of partnership. I have no doubt about that. I said that private company sector involvement is very important in the future, but some new elements are there. But even this ODA, we have entered into new territory. That's $3 billion yen loan. That's a new territory. So over the last 2 years, so we are coming there. So we are really upgrading our partnership. So then, if we are successful enough for Big B, those existing projects, once they are complete, then I'm sure that the people realize that there was a very strategic cooperation between Japan and Bangladesh, even just through mega projects along this corridor, Dhaka, Chittagong, Cox's Bazar. Yes.
In that perspective, do you consider Quad as an opportunity or as a threat?
Sorry,
Quad.
Yeah.
Microphone, please.
No. No. It's a little bit noisy behind.
Yeah.
You said Quad?
Yeah.
It's very promising. It is very promising for both the countries. I'm so excited to see the new elements adding on continuously. But do you consider Quad as the opportunity or as a threat to the prospects?
Threat to the
Prospects.
prospect.
Of the newer strategic or comprehensive partnership, whatever you say.
How can it be a threat?
I mean, what do you think?
We are not developing a partnership in the context of Quad. No. So Quad and our bilateral partnership are not related. It's different. So Quad is the venue for quadrilateral cooperation, as well as to promote common vision of peace and stability among those four countries. But this bilateral partnership is not the extension of Quad cooperation. So I don't really think that Quad can be a threat or opportunity to this partnership. So we will just promote our partnership for the merit of our partnership for the two countries. And we believe that Japan has a role to play for the development of Bangladesh. And there is a room for growth of partnership. That is why we are determined to elevate our partnership to a new height. And as I have already talked about, there are those new elements which would really elevate our partnership higher. And already those existing projects will have some dimension of strategic perspective. So all those combined, I'm really confident that we can promote our partnership further forward. And in that sense, this upcoming visit by Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina will be another epoch-making visit.
Thank you, Excellency.
One more small question.
Bailout package.
One more small question.
Yeah.
From a very geopolitical point of view, Bangladesh has been dealing with or I would say maneuvering with India, China, and USA. From geopolitical point of view, if you see, so will Japan step into this? I mean, will Japan come into play and join the bandwagon?
Bailout package. Bailout package.
No, this is not bailout package.
No. You asked bailout package.
No, that was the first question, but this is just an added one.
Huh?
This is an added one. From geopolitical point of view, Bangladesh has been dealing with mainly
this is something
USA.
This is something happens that no.
Because Professor Mannan,
you don't really try to understand what the other understood or not. So this is very common thing.
Go ahead.
I must say. Sorry, but with due respect, but this is a kind of thing I sometimes find a little bit intractable. So, but this is very common here. Sorry, but this is another observation of mine. The once there is lack of smooth communication, then your people tend to believe that other side don't understand at all. That's not the case in most cases, right? So bailout package. Yeah, but okay, then I don't need to make any answer about bailout package. Then this geopolitical thing, I don't understand by what bandwagon you mean, but we are happy and honored and delighted to be the largest development partner of Bangladesh, and we will promote our cooperation for the development, prosperity of this country. But we are also engaged with some cooperation, even from strategic point of view. So there are some of those projects which have some strategic implication and a strategic merit for the countries in the region. So those are the areas of cooperation we are going to do. So, but how Japan can play a part geographically vis-a-vis this government, that's a sovereign judgment call by the government of Bangladesh. That's not something my government is qualified to talk about. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency, for your valuable presence, time and thoughts. Your perspective and insight on different issues today have given us a clear idea of the kind of relationship we can hope to expect between our nations in the coming days. We have that the bilateral relations between Bangladesh and Japan will continue to remain an example of good friendship for centuries to come. Please join me to thank again the Ambassador with applause.